Muy buenas a todos, estamos aquí con Medic, caster de Riot Games, ya le conocéis todos. First of all, thank you very much for being here.
De nada.
How you... De nada? No, it's de nada.
Yeah,
right?
it's de nada.
Misunderstood. How are you feeling after this split? How are you seeing this?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, I really enjoyed the first split of the LEC. It was super exciting to have all of our long-term partnership teams in the league, and there were so many storylines that kind of, if we'd scripted it, I don't think we could have scripted it as well as it turned out in the end. You know, Fnatic being bad, then becoming really good, Schalke being incredible and then being really bad, Misfits not making playoffs. Like, it was such an exciting split, and I'm really looking forward to playoffs.
And comparing with the others, the last splits?
I think it just felt very new and very fresh this year. Like I joined in the start of 2018, and it wasn't that it was tired. It's just that we needed something fresh to bring new life into the league. And the LEC really let us kind of distinguish ourselves from the LCS and from the LCK and really make Europe its own platform and its own brand. So I was super excited by that, and I think compared to other years, the storylines are definitely still there, but this year just feels so much more powerful.
So what's different?
What, then last year?
Yeah.
So I think you just have to look at the amount of content we're putting out as a broadcast. You have to look at having a fully fledged 6-man team as well, with Frost coming in, with Ender coming in. And even just the sponsorships and stuff, it feels really exciting because we have 6-7 title sponsors now. You're getting things like Bico in, who sponsor Barcelona. It makes it feel like this sounds a bit weird, it makes it feel real. It no longer feels like esports, it feels like this thing that is actually going to grow and develop through years to come. Yeah,
so I was going to talk about that, you're making a lot of sketches, you're dressing, you're wearing costumes. How is it for you? I mean,
it's hilarious. It's so funny. So Dracos does a lot of the ideas behind it, so I want to give a lot of credit to him, and Margot is our main producer for it, but it's just so much fun, and we kind of accepted that we don't always have to be professional. We don't have to be the ESPN or the Football Focus is an English TV show for football. We don't have to be these guys in suits sitting there as oh, the striker does this and then the defender does this. It's no, we can joke around with our players. We can connect with them. It's a very young and active audience. Yeah. And so being able to just dress up as a teacher and pretend to teach Perks how to play AD carry is just so much fun.
So who's the mastermind of that?
So it's usually Dracos does a lot of the initial ideas. He comes up with the 30-second sketches, 1-minute sketches, and then piece by piece, we'll find out who's doing each one, and then you'll make your own script for it. So it'll be as soon as Frosk and I found out we were doing it, we knew which projections we were going to use. So it's is it Yasuo mid or bot? Is it blue buff? And then you're ad-libbing a little bit and making it up as you go along. So the end of the sketch that Frosk and I did with the Heimerdinger line, we just made it up on the spot, and it works. It's really fun.
Have you ever had any problem with any caster I'm not going to do it?
No, no, I don't think so. Because we're all so bought in and we're all here for the long term, no one really, even if you kind of don't think it's going to be that funny, you appreciate the fact that people who are smarter than you do, right? So there have been times when I've been I don't think this is that good, and then I'll watch it back afterwards and it'll be hilarious. And it's just, you can't see how it connects.
And what about the teams and the players and the team staff? For example, I could never imagine Yamato Cannon dressing like Jon Snow. So
I don't know. They all seem to be on board with it. You have some players who say, "Oh, I won't do this, but I'll do this," and you have to compromise sometimes. But everyone just wants to have a laugh and have fun. And you know that if you're in a YouTube video and it goes out and it's one of our main videos, you're going to build your brand, you're going to get more engagement. So even if you are a little bit hesitant about doing exactly what you're meant to do, you commit because you know it's good for you, right? So.
Yeah. So what can we expect for the next split? Even more crazy things, or?
So I don't want to spoil anything. We have a few ideas in the works. I can promise that there will be more funny videos. I can promise there will be more hype videos. There'll be more of, maybe the rap battle will come back. Maybe we'll have some cooking stuff. There's a whole bunch of different stuff we can do. So we're going to have a lot more LEC stuff. It's going to be great.
So you tell me that there's no problem with any caster refusing to do that.
Yeah.
Is it also useful for the team? Is it helping the team of casters? It's you are closer?
Yeah, I definitely think so I deliberately play solo queue with Ender, Vedius plays solo queue with Ender, Dracos does the same, I play with Frosk. We all want to build that synergy and build that camaraderie, and doing little things like this where Frosk and I were stuck for 2 hours, we got makeup, we're just dressed up like teachers, and you just chat and you joke and you definitely build up more of that camaraderie. And it also means that I know what she finds funny, and I can also joke about the stuff we joke there on cast because I know we have that connection. So it definitely helps.
So how are you personally in this team?
What do you mean?
I mean, with your teammates, how are you feeling? How is it casting with them? How is it? Do you feel any change between this split and the others? Like
okay, I think I've definitely settled into myself a little bit more this split, especially in the second half. The first half of the split, I was kind of trying to. So I knew I was a good caster, right? But I was trying to work out what made Medic, what made me like a special caster and not just a generic person. And I kind of overshot the mark a lot. I was trying to be too like snarky and too much like Deficio. And then it took me a while to develop into like the caster I've become, which I think is actually pretty good. And a lot of that was working out how I work with Fosk or working out how I work with Ender, especially with them being so new. Like they aren't Deficio and they aren't Vedius, so you do have to find those places you can poke and prod without angering them on the cast. And angering is like a strong word, but it's like, I don't want to make them feel off kilter or off balance, because if they're off balance, then they're not going to say what I want them to say, and then we can't cast together very well. So.
And talking about casting, I'd like to ask you, like, I'm curious about, are you casting, taking in mind your feelings for any team or something?
That's a bit of a tough question. So I think, like, we all have teams that the playstyle we prefer or players that we really connect with, right? Like I used to be a huge Fnatic fan. Before I became like an official cast, I was definitely a big Fnatic fan. But I think that you can have those feelings and have that emotion come out as long as you give the equal amount of emotion to the other team, right? In the Fnatic G2 game in week 9, if G2 had won that game, I would have been just as hyped, right? I was super excited because the game was amazing and I loved the game, right? And so if it's Worlds and it's Fnatic versus IG, or if it's Fnatic versus Team Liquid or G2 versus Team Liquid, I'm going to support the European team every single time. And if I cast Worlds and it's a European team winning, I'll be like, oh my God, it's a European team winning, right? But I'm never going to let that subconscious bias affect me praising a team that's doing well.
So who's your favorite for this split?
For this split, who's going to win?
Yeah.
I actually think Origin are going to win. I think Origin will win 3-2 against Fnatic in the finals.
3-2 in the finals?
Yeah.
Okay, take it in mind. And also, I'd like to ask you about the MVPs.
Okay.
Because we knew this week, who are they?
The All-Pro team, yeah.
So what do you think about that?
So I think it was actually probably one of the closest across the board. I think Caps is definite mid. Anyone who says Caps isn't your mid laner is trolling a little bit. Jungle is a bit contentious, right? Because a lot of people say Selfmade should have been higher up. And I can see where they're coming from. But for me, it's not about... The All-Pro team isn't about how much impact you had on your team. It's about how good of a player you are. And Selfmade is a good jungler, but he's not a Jankos level jungler or Broxah level jungler, which is why I put Jankos first. In the same way, Cabochard had a really good split in the top lane, but then his last few weeks really let him down. Whereas Wunder was consistent and had a really good last few weeks. So I put Wunder above Cabochard. And I think you can always, there's so many different ways that you can argue these positions, and it is a little bit subjective as much as we try and make it as objective as possible.
And what do you think about the people who make troll picks, like for example, voting Jack Troll for support? I'm never going to say it's troll, right? Because they have their reasons, and it's subjective. And I've just said, I've used that to cover my own back because it means you can give me a really bad decision, and I say, well, it's subjective, it's their choice. I would never put Jack Troll in my top 3, but he did steal an Elder Dragon, so maybe that makes him the best support in the league. Yeah, that's what I say, because I, for example, kind of made some troll picks.
Yeah. Did you put Jack Troll as your top support?
No.
Okay.
So, is there anything you like to say to the community, or to be prepared for that, or thank you very much?
Okay. It's Esportmaníacos, right? Yeah. Muchas gracias, Esportmaníacos. Me llamo Aaron. Ich bin Medic. No, that's about as much Spanish as I remember, but make sure you stay tuned. Playoffs is going to be super hype, and Rotterdam is going to be amazing as well. I've seen some of the stuff we're planning for it. It's going to be really good.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much
for the interview. Eso ha sido todo, chicos. Espero que os haya gustado la entrevista. Esta y muchas más en el canal de YouTube de Esportmaníacos. Hasta luego.
Hasta la vista.